This land is land that we once defended, like I said, in 2006. We stopped the encroachment going onto our territories.
Tonight, 2 Caledonia camps, 1 possible police raid. We hear from supporters and bring you an update from Land Back Lane.
You're going to see serious approach to reconciliation under Prime Minister O'Toole.
Conservative Party leader Aaron O'Toole introduces his parliamentary team.
We also put a lot of emphasis on leadership developments.
And a Winnipeg group that helps youth succeed partners with Canada's biggest book retailer. Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Tensions have eased in Caledonia as the Six Nations occupation of a proposed housing development enters its 2nd month. Blockades have been down for over a week. Traffic and trains are flowing, but the 1492 Land Back Lane camp still stands, and so does a support camp established not far away. Brett Forrester brings us this update.
A large barricade of vehicles, concrete and tires went up almost a month ago when the Ontario Provincial Police raided the Land Back camp on Mackenzie Meadows in Caledonia. A support camp went up as well at the spot known locally as 6 at 6, the intersection of Highway 6 and 6th Line. Camp organizer Rhonda Martin describes the camp as a safety zone, a place where people can come and check in.
We're going to stay here as well. You know, so we want people to be able to come here. We're going to build up some structures here. We're going to learn about our language and our culture. We're going to have people from the community coming in who are willing to teach. Also, people from outside, from different territories. You know, we want to invite them in.
It sits on a grassy patch of Gunnestoto, also known as the Protected Place, where the Douglas Creek Estates were supposed to be built in 2006. Six Nations people occupied the site and halted construction 14 years ago. The province ultimately bought the land from the developer. It remains in Ontario's name, held in trust, waiting for a resolution in that dispute.
This land is land that we once defended, like I said, in 2006. We stopped the encroachment going onto our territory. So with 1492, what's the same thing about it is they're both illegal sales.
Meanwhile, 1492 Land Back Lane is sorting through legal options. The possibility of a police raid looms like a black cloud.
The connection that we as Haudenosaunee people have to the land and to our rights over it is really important to us, that we translate it in a way that the folks in the courts and the people at large can understand it.
Police have a two-part approach to dealing with situations like this, the court heard last week. First, the OPP rely on their plainclothes provincial liaison team to try and resolve things through discussions. Police say these talks continue. Brett Forster, APTN National News, Caledonia.
The man who wants to replace Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister addressed the media today. Aaron O'Toole unveiled his parliamentary leadership team. With his team announced, O'Toole says he is ready to form government. He'll get a chance later this month when the Liberal minority must survive a confidence vote when the throne speech is presented. During his press conference, O'Toole was asked whether the Conservatives will support UNDRIP. He referenced an answer he gave National Chief Perry Bellegarde during a podcast last month.
He knows I have concerns with UNDRIP. In fact, we have a superior duty to consult than UNDRIP. That goes to the Supreme Court. He also knows that I worked on a pro bono basis for Indigenous issues and small businesses as a lawyer before I ran for politics. You're going to see serious approach to reconciliation under Prime Minister O'Toole. I haven't seen a serious approach from Mr. Trudeau, despite positive rhetoric. I want to see action and positive movement, and I look forward to working with Chief Bellegarde and Indigenous leaders across the country on that.
A group of advocates in the United States and Canada released new photos hoping to drum up new leads in a historic missing persons case. Online group Unidentified Human Remains Canada released aged progression photos of the missing Jack family from British Columbia. It's been 31 years since Ronnie, Doreen, Ryan and Russell Jack vanished without a trace in Prince George, BC in 1989. The new photos released last month show what the family may now look like. Samantha Steinberg, a forensic artist with the Miami-Dade Police Department, composed the photos free of charge for the family. They have now been shared thousands of times on Facebook, leading to several new tips. Family member Marlene Jack says this has brought new hope for her.
I really hope whoever knows something or know where they are, they can come forward and just please let us bring our family home. So I don't care about the justice part of it. Justice is not in the picture anymore. It's about bringing my family home.
An Indigenous lawyer is the new president of the Canadian Bar Association for the first time an Indigenous person has ever held this position. Brad Regier is a partner at Maurice Law's Winnipeg office. Regier is from the Peter Ballantine Cree Nation in Saskatchewan and previously was the president of the Manitoba Bar Association, also a first for an Indigenous lawyer. Turning to the latest COVID-19, parents might be getting another tool to give them a little more peace of mind as their kids return to school. Health Canada has changed its stance on home test kits for COVID-19 and is now considering applications for the devices for screening purposes. Health experts say this would let parents test their children regularly rather than monitoring them for symptoms that may not appear in kids. It's back to school for students in Alberta. It's a staggered start across the province. Some kids are already back in class and others are back later this week. And positive COVID-19 tests at 2 Calgary area schools have derailed the start altogether.
These masks are uncomfortable to wear for 7 hours a day in our closed environment of our school, surrounded by our peers. It is going to get pretty annoying pretty quick, I think.
There has also been some confusion over physical distancing. The 2-meter rule doesn't apply as long as the desks are distanced as far apart as possible. Masks are mandatory for students grade 4 to 12 in common places, including hallways and buses. Edmonton students will return to class tomorrow. With summer wrapping up, we are fast approaching a brand new season of some of your favorite APTN news favorites. APTN Investigates, Nation to Nation, Face to Face, and In Focus will all be back the first week of October. Here's a look at one episode of In Focus we're working on for you, exploring Indigenous cuisine. We're here in the kitchen of Feast Bistro in the heart of Winnipeg, where we'll get a new twist on some old favorites like fish and game. Here's Steve Spence.
So the dish I'm going to be preparing today, I'm going to call it Our Sister, and I'm going to dedicate it to missing and murdered women across our nation. So I'm going to be working with corn. That's one of the 3 sisters. I'm also going to be doing pickerel. That's a whitefish. It's also good for you.
All the ingredients are basic items you likely already have on hand or can easily source, and a change from the usual fried fish we all love. Michael Fossen of Urbanski offers up this recipe using bison, but you could use beef or wild game that you have on hand. Cream, pasta, and if you have it, gorgonzola cheese make this Métis Italian dish delish. These are just some of the cooks and dishes that we'll introduce you to. Be sure to join us for an all-new season of APTN in Focus, Wednesdays at 3 Eastern, 2 Central, beginning October 7th. Protecting 2,000-year-old cedar trees on the West Coast. We've got that story for you coming up after this commercial break. First, here's a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. To the East Coast, we've got 22s for Charlottetown and Halifax with some cloud, maybe some rain. The Grand River, 17 and showers, 20 for Happy Valley Goose Bay. Gaspé, 21 with showers, sunshine, and 25 for Montreal. North Bay, 22 degrees and showers, 19 in Sault Ste. Marie. Kapuskasing, 16 and showers, 13 and showers for Big Trout Lake. 13 and showers for Norway House, 11 and showers for Churchill. 17s for Gimli and Winnipeg, showers there, 19 and rain for Brandon. Sunshine finally for Saskatchewan there, 20 degrees for Saskatoon and Regina. 16s for Buffalo Narrows and La Ronge, sunny skies, 12 and showers up in Stony Rapids. Welcome back. The Lheidli Nation received over $8 million in funding for preserving a park in British Columbia. The Ancient Forest Park is the only inland temperate rainforest in the world. The money will be used to showcase their history and preserve the area. Lee Wilson has more.
Chief Clayton Poutney speaks to a group of students from the University of Northern British Columbia at the Ancient Forest, located outside of Prince George. The university's research was key in protecting the forest. It was maintained by volunteers and community members. Then it became a provincial park in 2016. According to BC Parks, it is home of cedar trees over 1,000 years old.
So the ancient forest is something that we have to protect. It's an inland rainforest that is not seen anywhere else in the world. The plant species and everything that you'll find in here, a lot of them are very rare. You'd find none of them in anywhere else in BC. So it's just an area that's really been a part of our history that we've always been protecting.
Lheidli Economic Development Manager Rena Zatorsky says the nation's involvement in the collaboration started with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the BC government in 2018. When new funding for the provincial and federal government became available, they applied and were successful.
But really this is Lheidli T'enneh focused. It was a huge success. We put in the application in January of 2019 and we just recently heard that we were successful, I believe, in March of 2020.
The nation will upgrade existing boardwalks and provide signage in their traditional language, build an interpretive center, and teaching sites for traditional practices. They believe international desire for Indigenous tourism will make the ancient forest a sought-after destination.
Indigenous experiences are a huge international attraction in terms of tourism. And our ability to share our history, our knowledge, especially in such a unique place as the Ancient Forest. It's the only inland rainforest in the entire world.
The partnership with BC Parks will give the Lheidli T'enneh the ability to train community members for management of the ancient forest. Chief Poutney sees it as part of their cultural revitalization, as well as strengthening relations with government. Construction is set to take place after the winter.
It's a great place to showcase the history for Lheidli because we're starting to revitalize our culture and revitalize the uses that we've been doing for so long. So it's great to see this up and coming, and it's great to see that the governments and us have all come together to put together a collaborative approach to this whole piece.
By sharing this beautiful, unique spot in the world, we're in fact preserving it. And we're also, it's giving us the ability to share who we are as Lheidli T'enneh.
Lee Wilson, APTN National News, Prince George.
A Winnipeg organization is promoting youth literacy thanks to a grant from Canada's largest book retailer. APTN's Crystal Hardy has the story.
The Winnipeg Aboriginal Sport and Recreation Association, or WASAC, recently received a $25,000 grant from the Indigo Love of Reading Foundation. Indigo launched a community response fund after schools closed due to COVID-19. Executive Director Rose Lipton says the fund helps nonprofits buy books and promotes a love of reading.
Helpful some of the really important gaps that exist for kids, because while every kid might have the access to education, they don't necessarily have the same resources at home or the same sort of supplementary support.
WASAC is one of 2 local groups benefiting from the fund. The organization helps youth get the skills they need to succeed. WASAC co-founder Kevin Chief explains.
We also put a lot of emphasis on leadership development, so we would be providing things throughout the school year to help young people get certifications. Could be first aid, CPR, helping them get a driver's license, open up bank accounts, and then giving them summer jobs, but the kinds of summer jobs where they get to work with children from their own communities.
Chief believes young people have a natural ability to create and influence change.
Young people themselves can always see something that they can do, and they can find ways to give back to their own communities.
Caitlin Fosanov is a camp leader with the group.
I just wanted to say, I'm really proud to and thankful to be working for WASAC because they do have a really strong Indigenous community here, and they do really create opportunities for children that may have not gotten the opportunity to go to summer camps.
WASAC has already used the grant to buy new resources that reflect Indigenous content and local authors.
Those books, we also used them during the camp, so we would get these story starters and we would read the books to the children, and then after that we would give them the story starters so that they could write their own story, like based off the books or whatever they wanted to do, right? Just to really promote literacy within our camp, right? Because
Chief wants to remind youth sharing your story is one of the most powerful things you can do. He states this partnership not only promotes literacy, but provides hope and opportunities for Indigenous youth. Crystal Hardy, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Thanks, Crystal. That's our new VJ based in Thunder Bay. If you have a news tip for her, you can email her at chardy@aptn.ca. We, of course, always want to hear what you think. You can share your thoughts on anything with us. Here's how. You can send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can find us online at aptnnews.ca and on youtube.com/aptn news. You can also follow APTN News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more Indigenous news. Time for a quick break, but there's lots more news still ahead. First, here's the rest of tomorrow's weather forecast. Off to northern Alberta, we've got 16 and sunny skies for Fort McMurray. Mostly sunny in Grand Prairie and 18. Lethbridge 26, sunshine 19 for Red Deer and Edmonton and sunny skies there. Tofino, some fog at 22 degrees, 22 and sunshine for Vancouver. Dease Lake 15 and showers, Prince George rain and 17. Dawson City 16 and showers, same with Whitehorse and Watson Lake. Yellowknife sunshine and 13, some rain in Wati and 13 degrees. Inuvik 14, mostly sunny skies. Palatec 8 and sunshine. Lots of 10s there. Baker Lake, Chesterfield, Whale Cove, cloudy with some showers expected. Igloolik 7, same with Clyde River. Looks like there's some showers expected there. Pangertung, mix of sun and cloud, 9 degrees. Welcome back. They have been used for thousands of years across the Arctic and serve as an important cultural symbol. Now Inuit in Yellowknife are learning how to make their very own ulus. Our reporter Charlotte Mort-Jacobs has this encore story.
It's a loud and dusty process. But one Annie Mitsima is grateful for. She's making her very first ulu.
I find ulus to be very important in our culture, the Inuit world, because it's a tool of survival.
It's also the kickoff for workshops organized by the Yellowknife Moot Inuit Tagut Tagak Ta'i, a relatively new and local not-for-profit which aims for more cultural teachings and events for Inuit in the capital city. Mitsima is learning from the best.
Take out all the marks.
Because Daryl Taylor is a natural teacher. He's an Inuvialuit carver, originally from Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories.
As I'm teaching, I'm also learning from them because they've grown up using it before and I enjoy.
The ulu has been used for centuries. It's functional, powerful, and diverse design comes from this. And I mean a lot of this. It's a female-centric tool, so Taylor didn't have to look very far when he sought out advice in crafting one.
One of my sister's ulus that I had at home, and I use it as something to learn with how she done it. And
Mitsima says ulus are an important gift to give and receive in Inuit families.
I gifted my daughter my late mother's ulu, which was made before the 1960s, so my daughter can pass it on to my granddaughter.
Only a few are able to attend, till word of mouth prompts the organization. But it's not how many who attend, but the experience of those in attendance. Mitsima is a long way from her birth home in Iqaluit.
It makes me feel very much at home that I'm learning to make an ulu and to be amongst other Inuit.
Inuk 360, a local artist, is here with her mom. She says she has been waiting for more events in the city for Inuit.
For Inuit and having a gathering place for us to teach or learn or be together and enjoy each other and learn from each other.
Ulus are also a work of art in and of themselves. As a master tufter, a Nook 360 will use this for sewing.
Used for cutting pelts or making patterns, that's what was used. So there's different sizes, and depending on where you come from, you're gifted them, Annie?
I'm so happy to be doing this there.
Charlotte Mort-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
Love that story when it originally aired, and I love it still today. Something unusual has popped up on Vancouver Island.
We don't know too much about it, so we have scattered information from all over the world.
These thumbnail-sized freshwater jellyfish from China have found their way into several island lakes. The jellyfish are considered an invasive species. One theory is that they were attached to the roots of water lilies that were imported. The jellyfish are not harmful to humans. The Blood Tribe Land Management Department is hoping a new pilot project will help get rid of a long-standing issue, weeds, and lots of them. Goats are being let loose to graze their way through the invasive growth. CTV's Aaron Mahoney brings us this.
Following successful jobs in some area parks in Lethbridge, the Blood Tribe Land Management Department has enlisted the help of the goats from the Creekside Goat Company. It's part of a pilot project designed to target leafy spurge on the Blood Tribe, an invasive weed that has been difficult to deal with until now.
The past couple of years, it's been almost just like a whole canola field, if you look at it, because this plant is a yellow flower. So looking at the whole area, you would think you're looking at a canola field. But now this year, it's just completely green, the grass is growing, so it's really good to see that.
They've used a variety of methods over the past few years to deal with the issue, but given the vast amount of land to cover, the goats have been a natural fit.
We've had almost about 4.7 acres of badly infested spurge that we just could not get to, just because it's a floodplain area. And the goats were great for that situation there, because they can go in there where we can't go with our chemical, and they can just graze the whole area.
The Blood Tribe is the first reserve in Canada to use goats to deal with the issue. Another unique benefit for the tribe is the goats are trained to attack only the invasive weeds, so they've avoided going after native plants that are important to locals. Herder Rob Fink says this year has presented numerous challenges from COVID to weather, but they've changed some of their tactics and management to adapt.
These animals they've become very prone. They love eating spurge. Not that we don't have a few other jobs and they can eat other weeds. We're open to the idea, but spurge has been such an issue that almost all of our jobs but one has had us come into gray spurge.
Goats grazed for 3 weeks back at the beginning of the spring and will now wrap up the allotted 6 weeks here at the end of the season. Aaron Mahoney, CTV News on the Blood Reserve.
In what could be compared to a scene in the movie Up, magician and illusionist David Blaine successfully flew over a desert in Arizona using only balloons.
Good luck, Jason.
Blaine lifted off with a cluster of 52 helium-filled balloons. He managed to go as high as 24,000 feet. That's more than 7 kilometers in the air. Blaine eventually parachuted to the ground safely, completing the stunt in about an hour. Today, the event was live-streamed on YouTube.
64-20.
Well, that's your news for this Wednesday. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Thanks for joining us. If you missed anything, hit up our website, aptnnews.ca, to catch up. Have a great night.